In the unit Staying Healthy, you learned a lot of new vocabulary and grammar. You also worked on your listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills. First, you learned some new vocabulary related to getting sick. You learned some words like sore throat, runny nose, indigestion, and infection. These words will be very useful if you ever have to see the doctor and speak to him or her in English. Next, you learn some body parts vocabulary. You learn the parts of the hand, the leg and the foot, and the upper body and arm. After that, you read a story about technology in medicine. After that, you had your first grammar lesson. You learned modal verbs like must, should, might, could, and would. And you learned which verbs we use for obligation, advice, possibilities, and requests. Then for your first listening activity, you learned what it was like to be a doctor. You listened to a patient describe their symptoms, you listened to the doctor give their diagnosis, and also the treatment so the patient could feel better. Then you did a really fun speaking activity. You and a partner pretended to be the doctor and the patient, and you had a conversation. In this unit's reading task, you had to pretend to be a doctor. You read about the illnesses or symptoms of a few different children, and you had to give them advice, like a doctor would. In your first writing lesson, you learned how we use paragraphs to take a break between one idea and another. After that, you learned how to write a story that starts in the middle of the action. After that, you had another listening lesson. You learned some really interesting tips about how to do 2 different types of listening tasks. Finally, in your phonics lesson, you learned about the 3 consonant teams and what sounds we use to represent them. Don't forget to go back in the unit and study the parts that you don't remember so well. After that, try to do the review quiz at the end of the unit. And good luck!